Yeah, 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 man. So this what happened, right? Hold up. I'm about to tell y'all the true story. I'm about to tell y'all the true story, how it really went. So I want people to really, really put on your thinking caps and your listeners. Just made that. I'm trying to do something right now. I'm just so check it out. White nationalist plan has been exposed by that. It's the white nationalist Christian attempt to organize a Nazi type level of ideology against all minorities in America and have them trying to leave. And so they're going to try to deport. You know what I mean? They're going to try to deport the people. Let's put as a Bigfoot. When they want to try to purge them and shit. Like that's the only thing these evil people can even think about. Right? So I'm gonna tell y'all how it went with Charlie Kirk. Okay, so I'm just getting the picture up as a visual guide. Oh, come on. Hold on, y'all. I'm gonna put up the visual guide, the visual aid that can be used. You know, let's go. Visual aid. Check. Let's go. There we go. So now we're going to commence with today's video. Jazmine Crockett is an American hero. She's an American hero in the flesh right now, in our time right now. And so, as a conscious man, I think that seeing this woman fight is because men's supposed to be the guardians, the protectors. They're supposed to protect the woman who's supposed to be soft, nurture, could take care of the babies. Like, you know, I mean, it's human nature that the man, you know, has his role in the relationship that bring forth children. Like his part in procreation got to be godly and make sense. And the woman should be able to trust in the man for everything. For everything. She's supposed to seek God through him and be totally to the man, right? So the man's supposed to be there and be able, you know what I mean? And so to see a woman fight, it makes you want to stop it or get involved and help her, right? To see a woman fight, right? You be like, oh, y'all ain't got to fight. Come on now, y'all women, y'all booms. Y'all don't want to fight. But no, there's women out there that really fight, and they'll be offended. In an Amazon type way, if a man come off to them and say, y'all supposed to be the ones, all y'all supposed to do is just get ahead and make dinner. There's women out there that will definitely take offense to that, and they might have taken a few men out in their life because they were slick with their words. They might have cut some tongues out, for all we know. They might have even cut something else off. That's scary. That's scary. So I'm just saying, though, it's just the natural. I'm just speaking on a natural reflex that if I see a woman fighting, then we should get to the bottom of it and get it so that there's peace. How can we bring peace to her? And so the things that Jazmine Crockett is fighting for and has been fighting for is concepts that is the utmost to our country and citizenship. She's literally in there with the lawmakers, the old white men that, have, done many racist things, and she called them out. And it's just, people hear her, and she is just telling the truth. And for them to make it where it's not a part of their culture to feel the way she has or have the same sentiments it don't look good for them. It don't look good for them. We might have had an old white man watching just now. He left because I mentioned old white man. But is it the truth? Because the number just went down as soon as I said that. So is it the truth, though? Am I lying? I'm not lying. That's how you know people is weak, right? And they're not really built for war. But they set up as if they such warriors and shit. They set up like they got to defend their race. Like, that's terrible, man. So Jazmine Crockett is defending the American citizen. Jazmine Crockett is defending her. She's representing her constituents and the people that she represents or whatever have you, and where she going at. And she recently had, she tried to get into Congress. So, it's a predominantly white male ran government. All right. And so, these people aren't really that cozy toward integration like that because they like the way things are. They like the way things have been, and they like the way things are going when minorities are that or less. Right? When they are a minority, you're going to be a minority. Or you even less than that. Right? White men, there's like people that don't like change. Like they used to getting their slavery and their rapes and their grapes and all this other stuff, right? They used to getting it the way they've been getting it. They got the whore mafia already got contracts with people in the shadow government and in the politic government where they're getting the whores, they're getting the children, they're getting the baby toes, they're getting everything that they want. They're getting the little sacrificial victims, they get whatever. Do you know that the United States government had a page system back in the days where they had kids as young as 4 and 5 run around living in there with the politicians in there sexually abusing children? That's what white supremacist nationalists, that's their thinking when they get it where there ain't no minorities around. And they got this shit where it's like they the only ones running shit. Ain't nobody else running shit but them. They do what they want. When they do what they want, they got the little page system with these kids, right? See, this is a system like, this is a system like the Hollywood. We could use Hollywood and the actors system, right? Where, you got people that is ushered in because they parents is into it, or they grandfathered in, or they just already, because they born into the system. And so you got people that's down, and they send their kids down there knowing damn well that them people is going to be over there molesting kids. And so they sending their kids through the meat grinder because they too is molesters, and they offering their kids up to the faculty. Right? I remember there was one testimony where them presidents or them secret society members is like, they would say shit like they want to fuck your wife, and then you gotta let them fuck her like it's a gang. Kids too, like what the fuck? So it's like that's what they like to do on their own, right? So Jazmine Crockett, she going against basically the government. Like whatever people might have thought of growing up, like the government, whatever, make it where it's the racist white guys. See, when I was coming up, I watched Sesame Street. I saw Sesame Street, man, and Sesame Street had this shit where there was two white judges that would be seen throughout the show or wherever, right? And I just did not understand, in a show where it was nothing but Muppets, the only humans was the two judges. And I didn't like that because they was old and creepy looking. It was old and creepy looking. I should bring their dumb ass up, but we're not here talking about them. But that sounds like an investigation. Who was them white judges on Sesame Street? Like, what the fuck was their whole purpose? Why would they even judges like that? So, anyways, that's Jazmine Crockett, right? She said everything that ever went true with this administration as it is. She called Trump and his administration white supremacists. They out here fucking trying to make distraction for the Epstein files. Where is the files? Why did people have to fight for the release of the file? All this and that. Right? That's Erica. That's Jazmine Crockett. And I think that I think she's a notable person. You know what I'm saying? Now, we're going to talk about the next woman that I think is on the front line in her own right. It just happened to be another woman, a respectful. Listen, man, this is a woman that she also is saying true things. And that's, even if you don't know these people, right? That's the point here. Is that she's saying true things. And that's what people got a problem with. the truth being out there. And I think that these two women represent the truth in this, the American truth, more than any other people that I can think of at the moment when it comes to going against the system and being vocal about the true things that their research came up with, or whatever the case might be. And so, man, listen here, man. I got some. Wait, did I just get that? That's 1, 2. That's 1, 2. Okay. So listen, man. Erica KIRK and her little rift with Candace Owens didn't make Erica KIRK look any better either. Like, she basically is what we all thought, or what we all could think. And that shit's so damn criminally dangerous. You know, it's criminal. And we up here can investigate criminals. Can you believe it? We can investigate the criminals, man. Look, this man is such a. Watch this shit, man. This guy. So we're gonna investigate the criminals, man. That's all. Hold up. Man, we're gonna have to share the screen because I ain't even all right. Watch this. So here go the Don. That's all his smooching. Every time he see this bitch, right? Hold on, let's zoom in. Let's zoom in on this pathetic bozo right here, man. The Donald. That's what they call him, the Donald. Like, he grabbing a hold of this woman. She putting it on him. You know she putting it on him. You know she putting on the simulation. Ms. Dawn, peace, queen, salute to you. You know she putting on the simulation. He trying to get an erection. All right? He trying to get an erection. His teeth ain't really that clean. He got fake teeth, man. He got some veneers in there. He holding on as if she was lifetime. Like he trying to get all that energy. He trying to feel that delusion. And she putting it on him. You know, when a man and a woman got a connection and she like, yeah, yo, it's for you. Yo, I'm gonna give you all of this and shit. Like it's a vibe. Like that vibe, that connection is real, son. It's mind, body, and soul. And so she put it on him though. Right? And when a woman does that, she loose. Like if she's loose with her mind, her body, or her soul, she do shit like this. Right? Where she put him on him like this. And who knows what he could feel? He probably can't feel nothing. He wish he could. You know what I'm saying? But let's show, I mean, people who don't know that Shorty already was with Donald Trump. Like, she already probably been with him. She probably already banged a little dumb ass out. Back when he used to get an erection. But she literally got a Trump whore stamp, like a tramp stamp. Trump stamp. Like, she one of them, like, yeah, yo, them good old boys to see her, they're like, ooh, woo-wee. I mean, that little old butt and a little old Bill with the big giggity face, little quagmire face and shit. Big chin, big jawline having ass. Look at who the fuck hugged somebody she's trying to wake up Mr. Happy. She looking down like she's trying to wake up Mr. Happy. Hey, look, that man ain't felt a woman's touch like this ever in like 20 years. Because if he was with anybody, he paying them. He paying prostitutes, allegedly, right? I'm just saying, he paid his wife. So, I mean, see, this the first time, and who knows how long, if ever, that a woman simulated true care and affection for him as a man. And she was trying to get it to work. Look, she was trying to put all her focus like, yo, she gonna blow the president in front of everybody. So that's this the same shit she did with the vice president. She hugged the back of his head and shit, whatever. They was saying that shit, you read between the lines on that shit. So she like, look, her soul everywhere. She for the streets. She for the streets. She trying to be a sex symbol. You know what I mean? She trying to be a sex symbol. Oh, nasty ass. Look, trying to be a sex symbol. So this is the story, right? Her family, and you could watch other YouTubers that actually did the research because I've seen people talk about it. But her family is connected to the Lombardi. The Lombardi family is connected to the trophy that the people win when they win the NFL championship, the Lombardi trophy. And so her family is that guy. And they got like ties to Europe and all this other shit, right? And so she was banned. She's banned from Armenia because she gets suspected sex trafficking. It's a whole thing. Like she's straight sex traffic criminal, but guess what? CIA. She a damn agent for the government because she was out there with military personnel with the sex trafficking shit, allegedly. So here it is where she is a goddamn, she probably worked for Mossad. You know, the American branch of that worked with Mossad, she probably worked for them, which would be the CIA, because they're the Nazis. The Nazis are Jews. There's no Jew-Aryan beef, really. They working together. So the anti-Semite argument is an attack on minorities, just like Aryans with a pro-white neo-Nazi type sentiments. It's still a minority hate type situation. And so this guy already told Proud Boys stand down, stand by before they lost the rights to their name to an African Methodist church, which I find very hilarious. So there won't be no Proud Boys. They have to use another name if they ever organized again. But anyways, that's Erica KIRK, straight slut. I thought she was a Christian. Listen, I did research on her and I found out that she got like 3 college degrees and they all deal with reading the Bible. She come from a rich family. She went to real preppy ass schools and she basically is the part of the white Christians, white supremacy type angle of things. You know what I mean? And so I'm just showing because this is slutty. And so what they got to do with Christianity. And so let's see if we find a picture of look at this dumb face. And so months later, right? People, the internet tore her dumb ass up, didn't they? The internet's then good white people stood up and said, this bitch is full of shit. That was good. That she wasn't just going to be the little Christian princess. See, what the fuck did he got to do with it? Why is he even there? Why is he even there, right? Like, what the fuck he got to do with it? It's because he got something to do with it. That's why he's there. So she worked for the CIA. Right? Now let's go to Charlie. Let's talk about what they did with this CIA agent did. I ain't got no pictures of them together. There we go. Is that her? That's not her. That's her name. But that definitely is not her, son. What in the hell? Uh-oh. What's going on here? Wait a minute. That is not the same person. Well, this is unexpected. This is unexpected. All right. So maybe we could chop this up to some type of error. Maybe somebody got the wrong picture. And so I'm gonna let that slide. But do we got a picture of these two together? And so the story goes, right, is that they're at the airport and that she sees him at the airport. And so he's standing there, right? And he a Christian, he going through Christian type things in his life and shit, and she set on him. Now in his world, she just walked up to him, beautiful, gorgeous, threw herself at him. He don't get no pussy like that, right? It was the first time ever that a woman came on to him and treated him like a king. Because that bitch was paid. That bitch was an agent, son. That bitch was a fucking agent, dog. And she blew his mind. They got kids. She got pregnant, got kids, got a family. So she jumped in his lap and had kids immediately. Now he got a wife. Now he got a wife, and now they up there talking like they Christian evangelists, like the husband, like Pat Robinson and his wife or something like that. Like they get up there to talk Christian things. And so it kind of looked like they was going in the direction of they're going to represent as white Christians for white people, right? They wasn't on no integrative type thing at all. But he was trying to find himself, with Christ and shit. And so I believe that, oh Lord, well, that's what they supposed to have did. I believe that his friendship, right, with Candace Owens is one of the things that the Messiah used as evidence that he was an issue, right? Because he started Turning Point with Candace Owens, right? And look at the difference. Now that she got that shit, that shit look like, like she all evil and shit. Listen, the internet tore her ass up with all those sparkly events and things like that. That shit was definitely theatrical. She definitely didn't have the emotion that a widow, someone who the husband was killed, would have. You know what I mean? She definitely was out there using Jesus and Christianity terms in wrong ways and trying to basically get people to empathize with her emotion energy. And she was going to use her sexuality or sex appeal to, force that she's the image of a white Christian woman and that should galvanize the racist white supremacists in America that are also white. But it's like real, people don't like lames and liars and bitches that you can't trust. And so even though people might not broke it down the way I did, she definitely is that. She definitely is someone who's out there acting. And guess what? The real shit is she was acting when she was with his ass. She was acting from the jump because she was an agent from the jump to be put on him. And so now let me see. We got to talk about Charlie. We got to talk about Charlie, and what industry he came up in. Right? Now, most people don't know this. But Charlie KIRK came up in the Boy Scouts. Charlie KIRK came up in the Boy Scouts. And so the Boy Scouts industry is what I'm going to call it. It's just like the political page industry. You got to look at PAGE. The pages were little boys that would be, helping politicians out in the Congress and the Senate and shit like that. And so their families would be giving them into those positions. It's like having an internship, but they was as young as 4 or 5. I'll say 5, I think was the youngest. But they would have little kids running around, 5 and up. Supposed to be, and 5 is young. But I saw that in history, like in the early history of the American government, that they did have kids that young. And so in the 80s and 90s, you had incidences where former pages had came out, and some of them did violent things. Some of them did, there was sex scandals and shit. And it dealt with the page and the politician or the congressman and all this and that. It was like maybe twice that it happened in my memory. And so that is a part of the industry that is the politics. Because for a person to be even submitted to be a page, they would have to came from a family or an angle that is pretty much elite society type shit. Just like the type of person that end up being a senator or a congressman is usually one of the people that's already tied in and shit. And so that's how those type of things get perpetuated, where the kids get molested and all this and that. And so it's the same thing with the music industry when you got, you know, Usher being sent to Flavor Camp, or Justin Bieber being sent to Diddy and he's given temporary custody of them, so to speak. And so it's the same thing with the movie industry when kids are submitted to be extras or stars, and then they take on roles or they get relationships with directors and producers and shit. Like, they want people that's tied in to be submitting these kids and these people for these roles. And so that's how you got people sending their kids to Michael Jackson house. You see? Because they tied in. Think about it. Do you know about Keisha Cole? Do you know that Keisha Cole was in custody of Suge Knight? And when Tupac Shakur was over in the West Coast with Suge Knight, Keisha Cole was living in their house, and she wasn't even 15 yet. And what you think they was doing to her? Right? She never came out and spoke anything ill will about the industry. And so there's a secret prostitution ring amongst secret society members. And some of these people can have careers in prostitution and they only drop one record. But Keisha Cole could sing, but her mother is who sent her over there. And so that shows you that when people are tied in, it's an organized crime thing to have kids sent over with somebody else. Like, how the fuck did Finesse 2 Times have custody of that little boy? Like, what type of culture is that? And so Charlie Kirk came up in the Boy Scout industry. And so Charlie Kirk might have been involved with things that the Boy Scouts is known for. The Boy Scouts was known for molesting kids, grooming kids. Okay. And so him coming from that industry, he could have groomed kids. He could have been molested. He could have even, God forbid, but you know what I'm saying? If he was a part of that shit before he turned into a Christian. All right. And so before he turned into a Christian, he was briefly in college, and then a millionaire, or a billionaire rather, endorsed him to be the face of young white American males. And Turning Point was created. Turning Point was created by the endorsements of rich white Americans who was privy to that Boy Scout industry. So it's like him dealing with Hollywood producers, but they're not Hollywood producers. They politicians. They politician producers. And they, even though he ain't finished college, right? They knew he put in work with the Boy Scouts, and that's how he got the type of funding he did. And then Turning Point became a thing. And so, like I said earlier, he started Turning Point with Candace Owens. And Candace Owens was, one of them people. She probably was the first or only Black woman to be arguing racist white supremacist points of views, right? Like, people might have called us sell out and all this and that, but they was really smart about the industry that they was appealing to. And to get that money from them people that you're appealing to, you gotta, and I think that they was playing their cards because they was they was connected to the richest people in America that had those views that others might think is conservative or racist. And so yeah, Candace Owens, that's how she blew up. You know what I mean? Saying things that was atypical for a Black woman in America. And she eventually got a deal with Ben Shapiro. And it was her and Ben Shapiro where it was like an unlikely, like an odd couple type thing. Right? Ben Shapiro and her. And then the falling out between the two. And that's when I started paying attention. The falling out between the two. And but they wasn't together. Like, Eric KIRK was in his life around the time that he was killed. And so that foundation, that friendship between Charlie KIRK and Candace Owens include emails and text messages that showed Charlie KIRK's true intentions. And so I believe that Charlie KIRK turned on the ideologies that his supporters had, and he became his own man on his path to finding Christ in his life. Right? Erica KIRK came on as a like a Jezebel, like a false prophet, a false Christian type thing. But he had his own, situation, his own ideas. And so when he moved forward with denying going along with what they was doing in Israel and, denying, working with or, being a part of what supporting Israel and what they was doing while they was bombing the Gazans, right? And so Charlie KIRK became more outspoken against Netanyahu and his regime. And Charlie KIRK had views that he definitely had the most control over the intellect of white males, college-aged white males. So he had pretty much that whole demographic in his pocket. And he had this thing where he was, challenging people to debates and stuff like that. And that's when I started to see him on YouTube with the YouTube shorts and how he was at different colleges and stuff. And, these people was debating him and stuff. And so at the time, when I first seen him, I was like, okay, that's a white guy. He's arguing from a white man perspective, and that's fair, right? Like, nobody should have to like talk black or, speak about minority things if they ain't got shit to do with you all the time, right? That's why politics is like you make a political point and it's supposed to represent for like the waves of people. And so I think his views, right, was not aligned with Israel or supporting what they was doing in Israel. And this is before Israel just obliterated Gaza. And so he was speaking against it. And so that is that is just so much of a reason why Mossad not only bugged him and read his emails and his texts and seen these conversations with his friend, Candace. I think they knew what his inner thoughts was. And even though he might have went out there and he said some shit that was racist or borderline racist or just, maybe seemed to be insensitive or something of that nature, I think he was just playing the game. Because if he truly believed that, if he believed and repented and believed in Christ and he did things proper, then he would have the opportunity to turn many people to Christ. So he had that ability to be at that pivot where he could get white nationalist supremacists to tune in and listen. And through rationalizing, he could increase the standard or raise the bar to what's acceptable amongst his demographics, which would equate to him having more sway over the demographics that Trump wants power over than Trump himself. And so I feel like they executed him, they assassinated him, and he was doing something people do on YouTube all the time. He was debating people. To see somebody that was up there debating, and I saw him, and I'm like, listen, he's not, like, I'm not going to just say just because he a racist white man, he a white guy. And he in the industry of debation, I guess, right? And so I thought it was nothing wrong with that. People go up there and talk shit if they want to. Like, people do it on YouTube all the time. They say racist shit on YouTube all the fucking time on panels and shit, right? And so it's really about debating. He had a debate platform. Who don't like that? And so for him to be murdered while doing that, it don't really make sense that people would take it that far. It don't make sense, especially when he got an open mic and he got people come up to the mic and talk. Like, it don't make sense that people or somebody would take it that far as to go through to try to assassinate him. So, I did some type of research in it, and there was agents there. There was agents there that was playing the distraction. You had a guy that claimed to be the one that shot him. Everybody thought that some old guy shot him. And so you had this redhead ginger Edomite jump up when everybody was down on the ground, and he was pumping his fist. And so it's like there was people placed in there. And views of the crowd that Charlie Kirk was looking at, there was a man with glasses and a brown top, and he had this pin trigger in his hand. And I believe that they had used some sunglasses that he was wearing to target Charlie and a pin trigger to detonate a bullet, possibly from a drone above that nobody saw. But it was an orchestrated technological assassination that was played out on the other end of whoever the race of people that the Mossad is really a part of. And they did it to steal his soul and to try to confuse him and try to make him subject to Erica Kirk and her bullshit, because she did witchcraft on him by showing his casket and calling his name and holding his chair and saying, "Oh, Charlie." But she clearly don't have any of the Christian values that Charlie had. She surely can't perpetuate an image in which she's a good Christian woman, because the internet already tore her ass up. So now that we see that she's not really a Christian, like she's not really a real good person, like she got shady ass weird ass moments going on with her. And then you got Trump. Why is Trump so involved? Why are they so phony together? And then you got Netanyahu come out and say that he was a great friend. When Candace Owens already exposed all this shit. Candace Owens has been doing the work, and she doing it for her friends. She not doing it for clout. She doing it for truth, justice, and the American way for real. You know what I'm saying? And I thought that it was going to kill her when she went to go meet with Erica. But yeah, man, that shit, I think she telling the truth. I think that the lies and the shit that she's exposing is true. I think that what I said is true. My opinion, my assessment is accurate in a lot of spaces. I think that Charlie Kirk wasn't a racist. I think that he was playing the game because racist money built his company. And so he was in a position where he could have broke away and had people conscious to being dissatisfied with the actions of Israel. But soon as Charlie Kirk was assassinated, that's when Israel ramped up their attack on the Gaza. That's when Trump ramped up his rhetoric in support of Netanyahu. That's when really Bibi and then Netanyahu and Trump really started to chill after Charlie Kirk was assassinated. See, before that, it seemed like they was trying to play it cool. And then at the memorial, Trump come out and he act like that he gave a fuck. And he over there feeling on Eric and Kirk. And so Cash Patel was there. Cash Patel's an idiot, right? Cash Patel's an idiot. He's at the memorial, right? And he says this speech like he gave a fuck about Charlie. He says this speech, and then he goes, "See you in Valhalla." See you in Valhalla. Charlie Kirk was a Christian. Valhalla technically would be some pagan bullshit. You don't say "see you in Valhalla" to a Christian. You goofy son of a bitch. And so it's such a thing where he don't even got no heaven. He didn't even say "see you in Brumandala" because he a fucking idiot. See you in Valhalla. He was trying to speak to the racist white people who think they is Nordic Vikings. And so just, he want to hit that. They hit that same string on the guitar every time. That shit that's supposed to resonate with the poorly educated racist white descendants. Like, no, really, it's poorly educated white descendants. And that's who they depend on to be motivated by pure racism because they stupid. They don't got no education. The poor whites is the ones that's going to cause most of the trouble. The back country redneck incest having ass militias is going to be the main body of force if they ever said it's time to purge the minorities. There's so many people out here with guns. Like, yo, I don't know if they even thought this shit out properly. But it just goes to show you that people like Cash Patel are they're what you call it? They're trying to play to what white people like to hear. That's it. Do you ever even heard Cash Patel in like one of these hearings? He is such a cocksucker. He's like one of the worst brown nosers, but his whole administration sound like dumbasses. When Marco Rubio speaks on Trump and they like, please have faith in the president and just trust the president. Like, you know, heck, so they want people to trust in this guy. And that's what they keep on reiterating. No other president did this. No other administration did that. Thank you, administration. Thank you, Trump, for allowing us to do our job. He was never even a policeman. Never. Nobody even know who the fuck he is. I did research on him. There's only one picture you find of him before he even got involved with government. He looked like a goddamn telemarketer in a sweatshop somewhere. Anyways, as long as he a simp. As long as he got his girlfriend on that jet. Goofy bastard. See you in Valhalla. So that right there tell you that none of these people at his memorial had Charlie Kirk's best intentions. Like they all show an error that they off a little bit. So I think that's it when it comes to Charlie Kirk, man. They real life assassinated dude by, you know, the Mossad is working with the shadow government. What happened to Cash Patel? Wasn't he supposed to come out here and go to war with the shadow government? Pixel T, what's up, Queen? Salutes to you. One of the Pixel T said one of the defining challenges of our time is watching religious extremism. Have you watched the recent Canadian candidate? No. The last time I saw her, she was talking about the mic might have exploded on his neck. I got the video, man. I got the video of him getting shot. Shit is on the hard drive, but you know, when I seen that shit happen, man, I kind of, you know, I didn't like it for him because I had just started to see him on YouTube Shorts on the regular. So I had, you know what I mean? I didn't have an issue with him. I kind of enjoyed his content. You know what I mean? Be honest. And so to see that he got killed, at first I was like, man, we do that type of shit all the time. Like they couldn't have killed him because of something that he said. You know how much wrong shit that I done heard over these years, listening to people on panels and shit. Like I didn't want to. Somebody heard what he said and they young. So I don't know, man. And he was the way when I seen him get killed, I seen him die. It didn't look right. It looked like he didn't deserve that. He didn't deserve that. But I had a dream about it. And it was before it happened. I didn't know who he was in the dream. But I saw that he had all the white people listening. And I saw that it wasn't enough for him. That he didn't want to be just in that box where, you know, because it would cut him off from the world. But he had all the whites. He had all the white people. Like he was the smartest one, you know. But but he sought Jesus. He sought Christ for real. And he wasn't going to let racism keep him from the truth. And that's what got him killed. And so he had to pick up his cross. He had to pick up a cross too, for real. Like, for real, he was martyred for real. I was standing right there. I was like, oh, you think you the shit, huh? I didn't know who you was, but I was like, I could tell, I could read them and shit. I was like, oh, you think you the shit, huh? If you think, and I test, I was like, if I find any error in them, then, but it was like, all right, well, if you made it this far, there's no error in you, like that, then you know what you're going to have to do. So you're going to have to, he had to get killed because he was too right. He wasn't going to tell people to be racist bastards. You know what I'm saying? It was really interesting. But yeah, I didn't know who he was, but I recognized the scene when I saw the footage and shit. I was like, oh, so that's who he was. Wait, what? She's tying it to the detonation we see in Charlie video footage of his death and why the location closed and vehicle were white clean. Man, that was a lot of blood. That was a surprising amount of blood came out of him. For those that didn't see it, it was like you have a balloon catch a leak. It was like if a balloon had caught a leak, but it was a big ass leak. It was like the amount of blood, the amount of water that come out of a water hose when that shit is like just under full throttle and shit. It was like a water hose had turned on the blood. He looked like a bag of blood. And that shit shot him right in the neck. And the blood was just, it came out like a fountain and shit. Like in the air. Like it was like it wasn't like, you know what I mean? It was like a water hose, man. If somebody like just turned the water hose up, holding the nozzle up toward the sky and shit, and how it would come up and pour down. It was like that. Yeah. It was a lot of blood just in that one moment as soon as it happened. Like he got popped. Like, I don't know, man. Like that shit popped. It killed him. It killed him. So anyways, I seen him in the vision after he was dead. He was a good guy. His wife at the time was she was trying to harm his spirit in things that she was doing. And I remember talking with him, and then we had to like make adjustments because she was trying to keep him dead. Like the thing is like the people, left side's perish off. But when people talking on the dead, like they either talking out of love or they talking out of some sinister shit. And I can tell because you don't say certain things if you love them. And I'm gonna tell you like this: the shit that she was saying, she was phony, but she got his casket out, and she was showing his corpse on camera, and she was crying and weeping on the corpse and shit. That was a play that was trying to distract or anchor him into the death realm. And so I was talking with him, and we were somewhere else, and it was like it's not like do we trust this guy, or is he going to turn to the dark side? Like, is he really a good guy, or is he really just a infiltrator that wants to know the extents of heaven and and try to white power the shit out of us? But his love for Candace might have kept him together, because I can't do everything for him, right? I mean, I had a meeting with him. There's an agreement, like, you don't fuck this up. It's kind of like a peace treaty type shit. Like, you're gonna really let a white boy come back? You gotta be, you know what I mean? And so I think him and Candace Owens got like there's like a Romeo and Juliet shit for real. Like, you know what I mean? Like, she fighting for a friend. She married to a whole nother man in England. Y'all know that? She in England. Candace Owens. She married to a rich dude. He part of he one of them lower level royal family members and shit. Something like that. Maybe loosely connected. But shit. So it's not like, it's like it got more of a pure place in which her argument coming from. Like, her pursuit of the truth is not because, of any malice. I don't think. I think she think that her friend really was harmed. Oh man, I don't like disrespect. At the inkling of disrespect, I cut somebody off on the inkling of ignorance. I don't fuck with people like that. But when I do, I'm like a nice person, because unless someone in the car. And the road rage shit is strong with me, man. But not really. I don't promote it. But yeah, I'm nice to people, man. But I don't give people the time to even cross me. So, man, you can't cross me. You don't know shit about me. The Valhalla reference was an interest on the military run locations. Yeah, Candace broke that shit all the way down, talking about helicopters and shit. Mm-hmm. That's what they wanted him to do, stick to the script. He broke off the script. Check out the one that she does about the residue, the chemical used for detonators. Oh, shit. I heard about that charge, that page of shit. But that shit, they did the Mossad did the pager explosion, and they blew off the hands and groins off and the hips off many a Hezbollah. So really, that one detonation of pagers around the Middle East at one time was the end of all their little groups. They had them all, son. They blew up the motherfuckers. Boy, so they fucked them over, and that's when they moved in. They were like, all right, we got them out the way, got taking guys and shit. So it's over with. They ain't got nobody to fight. Like, all that shit the Muslims were saying when they talking about beefing with Israel and shit, that shit was only supported by goddamn Iran. Maybe they got Saddam out the way, but Iran and shit. Iran really the only world power, or whatever the fuck they is, that talk that shit on a consistent basis to like try to eradicate Israel and all this and that. So obviously ain't nobody go jump in for Iran. Iran getting their ass whooped. And it put people in a different place, in a difficult place, because they not right. Iran ain't right. Their regime wasn't shit. They was killing their own people. There was hundreds, if not thousands, of people with bullet holes in the back of their head because they had military agents, go into crowds of protesters and shooting them in the back of their head. So I mean, they wasn't shit to begin with, but I mean, it's just like it puts you in a situation you're gonna have these people take each other out. That's what the scriptures say, that they're gonna kill each other in war. That these descendants of the fallen angels, they're gonna kill each other in war. And I mean, that technically don't got nothing to do with us, except for we in the midst of it. Pixel T says she disagrees. She don't think he was a good guy. I think he was in too deep. He made an example of anyone who pushed back on the system. He was made an example of anybody pushed back on the system he worked for. All right, I hear that. I hear that. That definitely was the point, though. It was like, damn, yo, do we trust this guy? But I look at it, maybe, I don't know, maybe I look at it like this. They put Erica on him, and Erica looked like she could have been hip to or didn't care that he got killed. Because if she's already an agent, then she know that that's a possibility. She's there to tag him, control them, keep him in line, so that that he could be easily controlled. Because the more that the more years came on Turning Point, the more power and all this. So I think that right there is fucked up. You know what I mean? Especially a guy like Charlie wasn't probably looking for that type of smoke, where a bitch that lay in the bed with him at night is plotting on his demise. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't no man ask for that. And so if anything wasn't going right between him and Erica, he had Candace that he could talk to, right? And she wasn't white. So there's no racism going on there. So I just think that that's one. And then if he going against the system and he get killed for it, you would think that he wouldn't be a spirit capricious for the system, or he wouldn't be a mind state of consciousness capricious of the system if he knew what happened to him. And so, you know what I mean? See, this is the thing. I had a vision, right? When he had killed him, there was some technology that pretty much vacuumed his consciousness and then put it in an interface, right? And then I saw that they used technology to pretty much give him another body, but it was a hologram or something like that. And it wasn't really something that he could keep. And it was just like a science experiment that they did with him. So I saw that, and I saw the part where I had a conversation with him. And I can't tell you what we said word for word, but it was kind of like, it was, you know what I mean? It was still uncertainty on whether or not he could be trusted. So I mean, listen, I think that if he couldn't be trusted, Candace Owens is wasting her time. And I just don't think Candace Owens is wasting her time. Because look at all the shady characters surrounding his death. Bibi Netanyahu, Trump, Erica KIRK, and all the people that work for Turning Point. The shit that Candace Owens showed, I think, is true. And I don't think that type of shit wicked individuals go through. I think that people are going to lose their life for their testimony of Christ. Some people, right? And I think he one of those. That they spoke about this in the Bible. That there will be people that they're going to lose their life because of their belief in Christ. And I don't see his wife as a good Christian or none of that. So, you know what I mean? He was definitely living that life and in that shit, but I don't think it's clear cut. I think they did his ass wrong, and he a martyr. White people should know that shit. They should. Yeah, they had children together. How can they not care? Oh, that shit possible, dog. I mean, it's done. That shit possible. Think of it. She was put on him. Like, think if she was put on him, she was put on him, and that's part of her job. I did a lineup. Remember Sharon Stone in the movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger, Total Recall? And she was like with him and shit. That's his wife and shit, but she knew that his ass was reset. It's just like the Truman Show. It's just like the Truman Show. She knew that this motherfucker was on a stage, but she was his wife. You see, and so shit, they have kids. Them bitches, them agents have kids. Hell, all until they called on, son. They'll play that role, dog. And so I don't think it's far fetched. Remember, they not like us. They not like us, son. They don't got human empathies. None of that. Heartless society for sure. Facts. Yeah, that real estate. That's Trump getting that piece of Gaza. I wonder where that story at. And then now who promised him some of that Gaza real estate? So look how Trump and Netanyahu went in on Gaza after Charlie was killed. It's like that shit was perfect. For them, it wasn't perfect, but they got him out the way. And so they don't have nobody in politics that would say some shit like Charlie would have said. You know what I'm saying? That this is not right. You know what I'm saying? Like they got the this is not right voice out the way on their platform, on their level. That was Charlie Kirk. He the only one that could talk to them white folks like that, and they were like, "Yeah, listen to him." Oh, for sure, for sure. Yeah, he part of the Boy Scout club. You know what I mean? He not. You know what I mean? Mossad is the club. Them motherfuckers. I saw a Mossad agent say that the Mossad say that the world is their stage. They make these real movies for people that's stealth civilizations. Like they carry out these acts like a movie set. And so the stealth civilization is the shadow government. And so by him getting assassinated and all this Mossad shit going on, shit, he was also adamant about them damn Epstein files. He was also adamant about them Epstein files. He was saying a lot of shit that people Trump administration wouldn't want to hear. And so just Netanyahu coming out saying we was great friends and shit, Candace Owens burned them up on that, man. Candace Owens burned them up on Candace Owens already blew the case wide the F open. It's a matter of who's gonna side with sense and logic, reason, truth, facts, science. Who's going to side with that? And then who's not going to side with that? The uneducated racist goons that are acting off emotion, pure passion, bullshit ignorance. They don't know the facts, or they're in the situation where they don't care or they can't care. Because who feeding them? Who they living with? Who they staying? Who's supporting their businesses? Who they connected to? Like people are animals, creatures of habit and habitation. Like, victims of their environment. a person could say, right? So then how are people going to change the environment? When the president of the free world talking about leader of the free world talking about, I'm gonna wipe you off civilization, son. Don't worry, Iran, help is on the way. And then I'm gonna wipe you off the face of the earth. If your government don't agree with me, I'm gonna kill the people. That's what type of politics is that? When you talk about Iran as a whole race of people. So Iran gonna sign the deal or I'm gonna blow them away. Like, what do you mean? You gonna blow who away? I thought you took out all the military outposts and shit. Who else is there to blow away? You still ain't conquered the military? How they digging out missiles from the desert? Y'all ain't blow that shit up? How can they be a threat? Do you know that the president used the old they was planning on trying to kill me? And so we had to act first. He using that excuse on why he went in and did what he did. They was trying to float that idea around, right? None of that shit works. And so that means that what they did is just add on to their karma, their negative karma. What they did with Charlie is going to add it to their negative karma. They're not going to be blessed for it. They're going to be exposed as being charlatans and liars and putting up a facade as actors and actresses, because that's the truth, right? That's the truth. There's so many people out here now with the truth revealing swag. Like, we're going to expose this, expose that. And they done already done explain this shit. I'm telling you shit I heard and put together myself. You know what I mean? This shit is already out there. Yeah, the elites, man. The elites. They was paying this man. They were paying the money. And you know how people feel when they paying people money. They see they became a millionaire now. They got power now. Now you're a political pundit now. But where you got that money from, right? You better not change your views. That's what they be saying. Like, you better not. Like, we don't agree with this shit. We gave you $10 million 5 years ago. You better not say no shit like that type shit, right? And so that's like trying to control somebody, right? Like, nobody want to feel like they under control. Like, because they gave their money, they feel like they got say on how to control somebody. And so they was like, man, yeah, yo, this shit not worth it, son. We gotta take him. He got too much. He not playing ball. Because Erica Kirk did not turn out to be the leader they wanted her to be. They was trying to get her to be the galvanizing widow, but that shit did not work. So now recently, because we found out that white supremacists believe they the 12 tribes of Israel, we can understand how these Zionists and these Aryan nation white supremacist neo-Nazis are pushing the Christian identity as a part of their agenda. But they act not in the ways of Christ, not under the laws of the Torah, but by pure bluffingness. That is just perpetuating what you're saying, Pixel, the elites. Yeah, they're not gonna TP the toilet paper USA is not gonna do anything. It's a bust. Because Erica Kirk was that's their bread and that's their main one. She don't got nothing to say to the people. She's not an orator. She's not a speaker. And whatever she did speak on and say, nobody liked her because she said some shit like, People gotta be careful, especially young white men. Like, god damn, really? People gotta be careful, but especially young white men. That's crazy. That's what she said, you know. Right. Charlie probably got tired of the BS. He probably was against the pedophiles because he saw firsthand they act in the Boy Scouts. And so if he really had found Christ and shit, he would be against all that shit, son. And what he'll be doing is giving other white males the mental tools to be able to think like how he thinks and curve them out of that dumbass primitive state of being a racist just because they white. Fatigue is real. That's facts. Yeah, a lot of shit been exposed since that. Yeah. Cosplaying Christianity is crazy. Man. Cosplaying Christianity is wild.
Reproduce biologically.
So that piece.
Women are the kind of people that people come out of.
So you just think they're meant to have babies. That's
Well,
it. They're just a vessel.
No, it doesn't take any talent to simply reproduce biologically.
So that piece of shit is Doug Wilson. He's a pastor who leads Christ Church in Moscow, Idaho. Oh, he's also the personal pastor of Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of War, which actually makes a lot of sense. Well, for the first time ever, I think this fraud got the right critique just at the right time from the right person. Take a look.
I have no problem. Listen, real quick, Pastor. I have no problem attacking wolves in sheep's clothing. I have no problem attacking a man who wrote that American slavery was mutually harmonious between the slave master and the slave. That's you. I have no problem attacking a man who proudly says he wants to do away with the 19th Amendment, which gave women the right to vote. I have no problem attacking a man like yourself who sits here incoherently supporting an incoherent, unwinnable, illegal war in Iran. I have no problem attacking you, a man who's the religious leader of Pete Hegseth, a man who's a cosplay crusader, who's leading some type of crusade, probably you put him on, as a Secretary of Defense, getting Americans and innocent civilians killed. I wish you would be a better Christian. I wish you would open up the Bible. I wish you would meet the Jesus that I met when I went to an all-boys Jesuit Catholic high school. The Jesus that took care of the sick, that took care of the poor, that welcomed the immigrant, that welcomed the marginalized, that helped them. But instead, you've used Jesus as a mascot for, I don't know, your white Christian supremacy, your cruelty, your misogyny. And I'm so glad that people are finally waking up to your cruelty and to the idiocy of your star disciple, Pete Hegseth, who keeps messing up and literally does not read the Bible and quotes Pulp Fiction. Just sit with them. Maybe both of you can read the Constitution, read the Bible, and just take a break, Pastor. Just take a break.
Yeah.
Who less?
Yeah,
all right, Pastor, your response.
Just incidentally, we know that Jesus was not a socialist because he could actually feed people.
Wonderful. Great response.
Wow. That was a terrible response. Yeah, yeah. Yo, hit him with the white supremacy Christianity. Right. Yeah, yo, that's facts. That's what they doing. See, there's good white people out there, man. People ain't gotta be doing the same, do as they do. You feel me? It's good. People from India and China, all that shit, man. It's just these scumbags is out here misrepresenting anything they call themselves. That's what it is. And I got as a Bigfoot up here. So I hope I'm representing. I hope I'm representing for the big feet. Representing as a big feet. I wanted to talk about Charlie and them. Yo, ever since I did a Bigfoot video, they just got Bigfoot all day. Oh my God. Y'all want to watch some Bigfoot? Damn, they got nothing but Bigfoot shit on my damn profile. Oh, look at this shit. Look at this shit, y'all. That's why they out there in the woods. That's why you got people that like they out there in the woods. They like build a cabin in the middle of nowhere and shit. They out there in touch. They trying to get in touch. Yo, out there, y'all got big feet around. You know, they got the big feet baby. Why are you holding the baby like that? That's a Bigfoot baby, dog. He don't even look like he want to be picked up. The Bigfoot standing still long enough for a picture. He look like a yeah, that ain't the first time I seen a Bigfoot with skin like that. That's crazy. He kind of short for a Bigfoot, though. I don't know. I thought it was bigger than that, but yeah, I don't know, man. You need to get a pedicure. That's for damn sure. Get them toes taken care of, man. What is you out there doing, son? So, recent scientific report says that monkeys evolved in the cold and not in the heat. Monkeys evolved in the cold and not in the heat. That might explain the patchy hairs on the Bigfoots for those that may be in some sunshine or something. They need a little ventilation, whereas I don't think the Yetis have patches. Like they is fully covered. Let's see if we can get a picture. Let's see if we can get that video of the little baby Bigfoot. That's an AI. Look at that finger. That shit's extra long. I don't know. It look like it's AI. That hand don't look right. But this is not what I was looking for. Let's go to 6 months ago. Man, this shit looks stupid. Yeah. They was using AI to make this shit. What the fuck? That shit was like in Armenia or something. See, that AI, they be doing too much with that AI bullshit. Luckily, I seen this footage years. Oh shit, that's the footage. Look at that. Man, that shit was like in Russia. So they might be like taking footages of Bigfoot, and there it is, in 4K in their ass. Check this shit out.
이제 film 비트입니다. 이제 jakşımda gidiyor kapanışı tuzemimle film bitimde. Tebrik geçiydi burada. Hani kötü yatırın ince.
They got a little one, son. That's in Azerbaijan. That's over in Eurasia. Russians.
Yes, indici
Look at that. That can't be. That's not a kid, man. They got it on a damn string, a leash.
Oh, şöyle balandı. Böyle. Oh, şöyle. Bir geçti içeri bak. Bir geçtim çıkılı içeri. O diyebilemez. Yavaş
Look at that, y'all. Look at that. That's a real being. All right, let's look at these other joints.
For 10 years, I kept the most impossible secret a person could keep, hidden in my barn, growing from an infant, no bigger than a human toddler, into a 7-foot-tall creature that shouldn't exist. I'd fed it, taught it, protected it from a world that would never understand. And then one October morning in 2005, I walked out to find something massive standing at the edge of my property, staring at my barn with an intensity that made my blood run cold. The mother had finally come, and she wanted
That's a man.
her child back. My name is Stanley Green, and I'm
They're doing too
56
much.
years old now, though this story begins when I was 46, back in the spring of 1990.
You need to stop.
Hey, boys, look what I got here. Hey, where are the white women at?
Year care reading when the smaller stepped back. There was a pattern to them, a rhythm that suggested language. At one
I thought I was saving a baby monkey from drowning that afternoon in June. But when I pulled a small, soaking creature from the rushing water and looked into its dark, impossibly aware eyes, something in my gut told me I'd just encountered something that shouldn't exist. The feeling lasted only a moment before I pushed it away, choosing to believe the rational explanation. I had no idea that decision to save that creature would bring something to my doorstep that would change everything I thought I knew about the forests surrounding my home. My name is Gary Hawkins, and I'm earned and vocal as Ridge. Other times, he'd bring the young.
See, that's AI. You see, he got 3 hands. They need to stop with the bullshit, man. The first one I showed was real. They need to stop. That shit a little interesting, though. It's AI. You talking about ghoulies and shit. Hey. That was all I guess for talking not a single legit clear date. A1 image. Yeah. Yeah. That's the one with the little baby is. The one with that little baby is the realest one. All them other joints is fake.
So I'll file this one under something that just makes me believe that we're living in some just bizarre simulation. So the $1.7 million no-bid contract to clean the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool went to a company owned by a Trump donor, this guy right here, John J. Cafaro. And his company's name is Green Water Services. The guy who did this to the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool runs a company called Green Water Services. This is an actual photo of the guy in Palm Beach. I mean, why does this guy look like if Hitler decided he was going to be a used car salesman? Why does he look like the Penguin from Batman? Why does he look exactly like this WWE villain? I mean, this guy looks like
the pallbearer,
the CEO villain in an 80s movie who's coming into a town in order to knock down a children's playground.
Yeah.
And of course, the guy has an incredibly shady past. His family business was developing shopping centers, and then he branched into other industries. And he ended up pleading guilty in 2001 for conspiracy to bribe a Democratic representative. And the corruption is just endless. When Trump boycotted one of those Republican debates, this guy donated $50,000 to Trump's event. Campaign finance records indicate that he's given more than $300,000 to political committees connected to Trump since then. His wife was even the chairwoman of an event that was held at Mar-a-Lago in 2017. How is this real? Spread the word. Listen to the Midas Touch podcast for more. So I'll file this one under something that just...
Oh, that's Midas Touch. Yeah, I'm subscribed to Midas Touch.
Israel has handled themselves with Lebanon, and I'm not happy with the way Israel has handled themselves with Lebanon and with Hezbollah. Without the United States, there would be no Israel. Israel would have been blown up a long time ago had I not gotten involved. Israel's fighting Hezbollah too long, and too many people are being killed. And you don't have to knock down an apartment house every time you're looking for somebody.
What? Well, that's a turn. Well, that's a turn.
Damn, political shots fired from Donald Trump against Israel. And that's not all. We have a lot more clips where he takes on Israel. And Israel now has firing back through all of their assets in America. So we've got a doozy of a situation on our hands as Trump has now turned around, seemingly for now, is arguing in favor of peace. And obviously the Israelis are livid about it. So Anna, tell us all about it.
Well, Cenk, what's important to keep in mind, and this context really does matter, is that Trump had some harsh words for Israel as he was.
Damn, Shorty look like she might got a little peach fuzz on her face. That, you know what I mean?
Was sitting alongside the Qatari emir at the G7 summit in France. And
hey, look at her face, man. She pretty though. She pretty. Look at her face though. That's a pretty funny face she got right there.
we know how Israel feels about Qatar. So with that in mind, I want to go to this next clip where Trump seems to say some pretty complimentary things about the IRGC. Take a look.
You talk about regime change. I never cared about regime change. It's never a part, but I guess you have regime change because you know better than anybody. The first group, they're all dead. The second group, they're dead. A part of the third group is gone. And we're dealing with people that I think are very rational people. I mean, they were nice to deal with. They were strong people, smart people. I think actually they're smarter than the first and second group. But they're not radicalized, and they're, looking to help their country. And frankly, to go get it, we're going to go get it.
And whether or not it's important for the United States to go in and retrieve it. Take a look.
My second term, we sent in the B-2 bombers, and we terminated I call it the nuclear dust, their enriched material, right? And totally effectively. So the Atomic Energy just reported that it was one of the most devastating bombings that they've ever seen. The whole mountain collapsed on top of it. And frankly, to go get it, we're going to go get it. But to go get it is a big deal because they say only China and us have the equipment where you can even get. The whole mountain is collapsed on top. We have cameras on it. You could make the case, why are you even bothering? Because it's not really valuable. It's, it's probably $500,000 worth. It's not very valuable stuff. But I think psychologically we want to get it.
Iran issues a direct threat to Israel. After Donald Trump warned Iran to rein in Hezbollah, the Islamic Republic fired back, warning that unless Washington stops backing Israel, it will strike its regional foe even harder than before. The explosive exchange has rattled high-stakes U.S.-Iran talks in Switzerland, where Lebanon has emerged as the biggest flashpoint. Reports say Trump's remarks triggered an Iranian walkout before negotiators eventually returned to the table. In a message posted by Iran's embassy in Tunisia, Tehran turned the spotlight on Washington's support for Israel. The U.S. must immediately stop its highly paid proxy in occupied Palestine from causing trouble. If it doesn't, we'll hit it very hard again, just like we did in recent months, only harder, the message declared. The statement marks one of Iran's strongest public warnings amid Swiss talks, signaling that Tehran is unwilling to accept what it sees as American double standards, criticizing Iran's regional allies while continuing military and financial backing for Israel.
All right. What the fuck? House in the middle of nowhere, dog. Mhm.
Viral claims that Trump might be pooting himself or pooping himself more frequently at press conference. Trump's body. Okay, so what are we looking at? And I'll show you a few different examples.
Add that.
So it could be flatulence or it could be incontinence.
Add that. As North Vietnamese forces serve.
So you might have to turn your audio. If you're driving the car, you're not going to be able to hear. The segment was because Donald, that blue shirt.
All right.
There is a place in this.
Winding down. Trump shitting on himself. Okay. Every Bigfoot shit, man. Bigfoot, man. What the hell? I just did two videos on you. What the fuck is that?
And today we're going to discuss something that's most likely going to be happening on planet Earth in the next few years. A massive anomaly that you see behind me that's now brewing in the Pacific Ocean. Something that some scientists are now referring to as Godzilla El Nino, also known as Super El Nino. And though this might sound like some kind of a science fiction disaster movie, right now the data behind this is actually pretty real. And the effects from this will be quite serious in certain locations on the planet. And so in this video, let's actually discuss exactly what El Nino is. They increase by about kind of a giant bathtub. Now, usually, when there are no major events,
shake up every meal with Hidden Valley Ranch. Get these recipes and more at hiddenvalley.com.
If I were him, I'd bundle my home and auto and pick up the real victory, savings.
There are actually a lot of winds going westwards. We usually refer to these as trade winds. Basically, winds blowing from the east to the west, or from South America toward Indonesia and Australia. And these winds tend to push a lot of waves. This is actually what we have right now when I'm making this video. But sometimes we also get two additional stages or two additional phenomena with opposite results, El Nino and La Nina. And when El Nino begins, these trade water winds create degrees Celsius. In certain cases, temperatures in the Pacific region, it actually ends up shifting weather patterns across the entire planet, but in somewhat different ways depending on the location, and even depending on the time of the year. And while usually in South America, so countries like Peru and Ecuador, there are going to be a lot more floods and a lot more extreme rainy conditions because the warm water fuels massive thunderstorms. In contrast, Australia and Indonesia experience the opposite. The rain moves east, and so in these regions there's a major risk of drought and even bushfires, which is exactly what happened in Queensland in the late 90s. This was officially the worst drought on record. Temperature anomalies, such as the ones that have now been determined in 2026. This new data shows us that there is now an 80 to 90% chance for such an event to form in the next few months. Suggesting, of course, that in the next few years, specifically 2027, 2028, and possibly beyond, a lot of different regions are going to be experiencing extreme weather patterns and possibly once again some of the hottest days on record. with the other worrying observation being the fact that we just actually had El Nino a few years back, and there seems to be another more powerful one on the way. And a lot of atmospheric scientists now believe this might be connected directly to major losses of the Arctic ice in the last few years that's now making El Ninos much, much stronger and much more frequent. Although we're actually not going to know for sure for at least a few more months. But interestingly, this is not just going to affect the weather, it's obviously also going to affect the economy and the production of food on the planet. Just to give you a kind of an extreme example here, a similar super El Nino that happened over a century ago, the one in 1877 and 1878, actually resulted in a global famine that killed over 50 million people.
All right, La Nina, El Nino. I think that's it, man. Yeah, it was good. It was good, y'all. Peace to y'all, man. Salutes to y'all. Be safe. Be blessed. I appreciate you, Queen Pixel, Queen Dawn. Salutes. The world don't like them. Oh, that's her name. Yeah, she's nice. Peace to y'all, man. I'll see y'all later, man. Shit. When I return again as Big Feet. Good night. Good night.